Step into the studio. I'm Tamara Brown. I'm joined by Evan Lazar and Mike Dussault, giving you the appetizer for Patriots at Jets. Guys, the narrative has changed for this one. The Jets, obviously, without Aaron Rodgers, and the Patriots starting the season 0-2. Mike, starting with you, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are I'm glad Zach Wilson's going to be the quarterback and not Aaron Rodgers needing to win this bad. But, you know, I think you really don't want to rely on Zach Wilson this week. I mean, I know that he's kind of handed the Patriots a couple games in the past, and, you know, those turnovers have been critical. But as we saw here last year, no turnovers. It comes down to the end. We get a Marcus Jones punt return. So they've got a lot of talent on the Jets team, and I think even with Zach Wilson at quarterback, it's going to be a challenge for the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and hype up Zach Wilson too much after that game last week, too, against Dallas, but you just turn on the film with them, and Garrett Wilson's still out there, Breece Hall's still out there. They have explosive playmakers. If you allow those guys to get into some space with the football we saw last week, Wilson housed one from like 68 yards out on just a little in-cut over the middle of the field, and he just takes it all the way to the house. So don't sleep on their supporting cast. They still got players around Zach Wilson that can give you problems, and we know what that Jets defense has done against the Patriots in the past. So I don't look at this game as a gimme by any means.
You know, Mike, Evan just mentioned don't sleep on the Jets' surrounding players. Their defense is one that you can't sleep on. How are the Patriots going to be able to move the ball?
Well, I think it's a huge challenge. And, you know, I think one of the biggest problems right now for the Patriots has just been their offensive line. Now, you got Onwenu and Strange back last week. You were still kind of juggling at the tackle spots, but I think that's a place where the Jets front, it's a very potent front. You know, Quinnen Williams is one of the, best defensive tackles in the league. So they're going to have to deal with them and figure out a way to get their running game going. I think this is just, for me, on both sides of the ball, I think it's the running game for both teams to, protect their offenses, get their offenses going. So find a way to get Ramondre Stevenson going, really hoping Trent Brown can be healthy this week, get back out there at left tackle. I'm not sure what the answer is going to be at right tackle, though, for the Patriots right now.
Yeah, two good points there. Trent Brown getting back from that concussion, I think, is huge. You need to get this group on the offensive line together. Continuity, seeing things through the same set of eyes is something that they have up on the offensive line room and a poster. That's such a big deal. And having all these people moving in and out of the lineup and you playing backups at the tackle spots, that's killer. They got to get Trent Brown healthy. They got to get this running game going. Ramondre Stevenson's one of your best players, just on your roster, period, at any position. He's one of your best players, and you have to be able to lean on that and be able to rely on him in the running game. So I agree wholeheartedly. They've been better in certain areas. They've are better on third down. They've been better in the red zone. Mac has handled pressure better this season, but they only have 2 explosive plays, and they haven't been able to run the ball, and that's really been the story.
I think another thing that's been the story is ball security and these slow starts that the team has dug themselves in. How can they not do that in week 3?
I mean, you can only hear him say it so much. I mean, last week it was a constant theme when you heard from Bill Belichick, when you heard from the players, was that we've got to stop turning the ball over. You heard Bill even after the game. So the only way to do it is just to not fumble it. So I think a good start, what happens? What happens if the Patriots come out with the opening drive and score a touchdown and it's 7-0? What does that look like? Both games we've seen them get into a hole. You feel the energy kind of get sucked out of them. They've fought back. They've showed, a little bit of perseverance in those situations, but it obviously hasn't been enough to get over the hump. So let's just get a good start, see what it looks like at the end. But again, you might need to get a fast finish too. You might need that last score that they haven't been able to get yet.
I would definitely look at these players that are out there. Just try to do a little less. Like, I think sometimes with the turnovers, you're trying to make a big play happen. Demario Douglas cuts back, and he said it after the game. He saw the end zone, and his eyes got wide, and he thought that he was going to score, and then Bradley Chubb catches him from behind. Don't try to be a hero. And I think sometimes with a lot of these plays that we see with the Patriots, it's guys that know that they need to hit a big play, they need to get the offense rolling early in the game, and they're trying to do too much. I think we've also seen that a little bit on punt returns at times as well with Marcus Jones and with Douglas in that game last week, just trying to make 7 guys miss and make something happen. Just let the game come to you, and then maybe the turnovers won't balloon as quickly as they have.
Transitioning now to the Patriots defense, a bright spot has been Christian Gonzalez. He had his hands full week 1 with A.J. Brown, then he had Tyreek Hill. Mike, what's on his plate in week 3?
It's a baptism of fire, and I assume, Garrett Wilson, I know he left the game with an injury, but it sounds like he's going to be okay for this one. Another great challenge for him. Garrett Wilson, one of the best young receivers in the game, so Christian Gonzalez, certainly he's jumping right into the fire here with some of these offensive weapons, but he's been outstanding. He's been really one of the biggest bright spots on the defense so far.
On the team, I think you can make the case that Christian Gonzalez has been one of their best players through 2 weeks of the season, period. The interception he had last week is just a beautiful play, playing the half field, but also covering Tyreek Hill in man-to-man. No Jonathan Jones. Marcus Jones gets hurt during the game, and they put a rookie on arguably the best receiver in football, and Tyreek Hill had 40 receiving yards in the game. I mean, that's really impressive, whether he had safety help over the top or not. So I've been extremely impressed with Christian Gonzalez. I think he's more than passed the eye test through the first 2 weeks of the season, but it doesn't get any easier. Garrett Wilson this week, CeeDee Lamb in Dallas in week 4. You just continue to turn out these #1 receivers that he's going to have to go up against.
And what about the Patriots defense as a whole, guys? Obviously, week 1, they're facing a dual threat quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Then they face an explosive Miami Dolphins offense. What is up to them this week to be able to stop Zach Wilson?
I mean, I'm going to say it's stop Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, and I know they didn't do anything last week against the Cowboys, but, I think, like you said, you've seen kind of 2 very specific offenses the first 2 weeks against the Patriots defense. This one, maybe not quite so much with the mobile quarterback with Zach Wilson, but I think it really comes down to stopping the run with those guys. I mean, if I were the Jets, I know I'd say, look, we're going to ride Breece Hall, we're going to ride Dalvin Cook, we're going to try to limit the amount of mistakes that Zach Wilson can possibly make through the air. And so I think it's going to be a huge game for the Patriots run defense. I think those guys up front, they have to really come to play and really get them in 3rd and longs, and that's when good things happen with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the line of scrimmage in this game for the Patriots defense. I thought the Miami offense really won that battle last week, and that was a big underlying part of that game was the big runs that Mostert had and not really getting much pressure on Tua. I know he had the quick release, but still only a couple pressures there for the Patriots defense. In this game, Zach Wilson, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last year when he faced pressure. According to PFF, actually the worst passer in the league while under pressure. He's somebody that when he faces pressure, he turns the ball over like crazy. And if you can get him under pressure, then that can really have big game-swinging plays for the Patriots defense. But you've got to be able to stop the run, right? They always say stop the run, then have some fun, right? You got to stop the run first, and then you can get after the quarterback and get him into those 3rd and long situations and really get Judon and Uche and those guys to pin their ears back.
Thank you guys so much for helping me preview Patriots at Jets week 3. For more game analysis and previews, go to patriots.com.